What's happening out there in YouTubeville, everybody? It's Pete with Backdraft Bikes, and I'm coming at you with another Tesla video. And I just want to take a minute to talk to you about the Tesla Y when you are dealing with this white stuff that's on the ground. Winter driving, that's what I'm talking about. How does the Tesla Model Y perform in snow and in sub-zero temperatures? I've got a lot of things for you coming right up. Tesla Model Y, brand new car, brand new to the market, and we have winter. It is February. It has been hovering around 0 degrees, very, very cold. And you have to ask yourself, this brand new car model with a relatively new car company, how does it work in the wintertime? So I had these thoughts when getting the Tesla. I thought to myself, you know, the winter is going to be the real test because let's face it, these are from California. They've been designed and been driven in warmer climates and they seem to work really well. But when it comes down to it, even cars with internal combustion engines really have a hard time up here in northern New England with the sub-zero temperatures. You see, a Tesla doesn't have a internal combustion engine. So there is no heat plant that's inside of this car. The motors, I'm sure, generate some heat, but definitely not enough to provide climate control and, most importantly, defrost, so your windshield doesn't ice up when you're in the middle of a storm. The second thing that I was interested in is traction. How do these vehicles perform on ice? Now, I've had a couple Priuses and a Toyota Highlander that were hybrid drive, and I have to say I was not that impressed when in the electric vehicle mode dealing with ice. The vehicles had a very quick reaction to stop wheel spin because of the nature of their electronic design, and therefore you could get stuck pretty easy. And of course there were some tricks and tips to try to get yourself unstuck, but I found myself stuck quite a few times up here in the bad weather. So today we're going to take you on a drive on a snow-packed road, and as you can see here, it's all ice underneath the snow. So this is a really good demonstration of how the Tesla will perform in a pretty treacherous condition. Second part of this video, we're actually going to take you out in a snowstorm and you can see how the vehicle performs on tar with less than ideal driving conditions. Let's talk about the heat really quick. The Tesla Model Y uses a heat pump. Now, the heat pump is a relatively new technology for vehicles. In fact, I've never heard of one being installed in a vehicle. We have two that heat our house, but they really don't work very well once it gets around 10 degrees. They start to lose their efficiency. They have to work really, really hard. The Model Y, Tesla came out with this heating system that uses essentially the same thing I have at my house. It provides cooling in the summertime, but then when put in reverse, it creates heat. And you can hear the heat pump running when the car is on and we're calling for climate control. It's a very loud whirling noise. Here's where things get interesting. Once we hit 0 degrees, does this heat pump have an efficiency like the ones on my house? Is it going to start to just blow cool air in the 50-degree range? Or is it actually going to give me some nice warm heat that I'm going to want to keep my windshield from getting iced up in the bad weather? Sad to say, I had problems as soon as it got cold. And on Reddit and many of the other sites, lots of folks had the same problems. My Tesla Y stopped making heat when it got really cold. Around 15 degrees, I noticed that this car just could not keep up with climate control and actually eventually just completely stopped heating altogether. I had to scrape my windshield from the inside when the heat failed. That brings me to the next point about Tesla's service. You have to schedule everything, and you can't even talk to a real person unless you go through the app. And this is the second go around. When I first took my car, and you'll see in my other video, I had delivery issues. There was some damage, I had sensors that weren't working, and a few other minor things. This one is a little more serious. In fact, it affects the drivability. You can't use a car like this without heat when it's cold. I texted through the app, created an appointment, and voila, I had to wait a week and a half for an appointment with an undrivable car. To me, that's completely unacceptable. Well, thank you, Reddit. I went back on there and scheduled an emergency roadside service call in which they connected me to the service department in Boston. And Kara, shout out to her, was extremely helpful. Not only did she get my car in the very next day, but she had it fixed the day after. And what was the problem? Same problem everybody's had. The pressure sensors that Tesla had from whatever vendor they sourced them from failed. And there was also a software update to enhance the sub-zero temperature heat pump operation. I am happy to report, even though it was a super inconvenience and left me without my car for a little while, I have heat and my car is drivable. So if you can get over those nuances and you have a 20 late model 20 or a 21 like we have, you may experience this problem when it's really, really cold. The other thing about the Tesla and the heating, I have to say I had a few loaner cars. I had an X, I had a P90. They're very, very nice. But I will tell you this, the heated seats in this vehicle are much better than the other ones. In fact, on level 3, it's almost like you're sitting on a bed of fiery coals. That is going for it. As far as the heat seaters going, you've got those on, you've got your heat pump running. It is a rather pleasant ride. I know what you're waiting for. The second part of this video is actually how does it perform in bad weather. So we're gonna do a couple drive-bys showing you how the vehicle stops and starts on ice-packed roads. Let's do it. I'm going to do a full throttle start and you'll see how excellent the traction on this car is. There's almost zero wheel spin, which is really amazing. Again, it's an all-wheel drive car, but Tesla has mastered the traction control element of this. You don't hear any funny ABS noises or anything. It's just literally getting grip and going to town. Again, remember this car is very heavy. It's 2.5 tons, with the battery weight being very low, gives it a low center of gravity, which makes this car very well for being able to get traction and keep it. The ABS on this car is also somewhat of an engineering marvel. The car has a tremendous ability not only to engage the ABS, but coupled with regenerative braking, literally slowing down the car by letting off the gas. The vehicle does a fantastic job at stopping while continuing to be able to steer, which really was the original objective of ABS, but this car does it great. Let me show you what I mean. We're gonna do a hard stop here. As you can see, we stopped very, very quickly and this road is almost completely ice. So it really is amazing to think that this vehicle does such a good job stopping as well. Out of all the vehicles I have, and as a former firefighter with 15 years of driving fire trucks in very bad conditions, I have a commercial driver's license. I have to tell you, this is absolutely the best vehicle I have had when it comes to traction and braking in the bad weather. So you may ask, how does it do on hill climbs? Let me show you. Nostrovia. So we actually have the real deal snowy weather right now. The roads are somewhat plowed, but there's a lot of slush and packed snow, and this is a tarred road. This is a pretty good road. We just received about 20 inches of snow with this snowstorm. So this is a really nice test for this car. Well, I'll tell you right now, this Tesla feels firmly planted on the road. Of course, the slush makes the car want to go sideways a little bit, as you would normally with a slushy road. But the vehicle's weight and this very hyperactive traction control system keeps the car going, and it keeps your steering planted. In fact, what's really amazing about this is how good this car actually steers even when ABS is engaged. Now this road has not been treated, and I want you to just get a feel for how good this car can accelerate on a snowy road like this. Check it out, full throttle. And that's 45 miles an hour. I don't think I'd want to go much faster on this road. But again, just unbelievable traction even in the worst conditions. I really feel like Tesla did such a good job with designing this car's traction control. And maybe it's a combination of the advanced electronics or the fact that there's two motors that are running, but really does a fantastic job. Just a couple tidbits about winter driving in this car though. As it's cold, the battery regen on the display takes quite some time to get up to temperature and actually allow that regenerative braking to take off. So here's a tip. If you're gonna go out in the cold weather, give your car at least 20 minutes to warm up, whether it's plugged in or not, because it will get those batteries nice and toasty, and then that regenerative braking action, which will help slow your car down on roads like this and works oh so well when it's slippery, will be in full effect. Now here's a full start from a stop sign. Roads are bad, we're going on to slush, and we'll give you an idea about how good it takes off. A normal car, you'd be sitting here spinning the wheels for a long time. This one, moderate throttle, and you're off. Unbelievable. Really, really unbelievable. Best winter car I've ever had. And I've been driving in this type of weather for over 20 years. Hey, here's another interesting thing. The car's roof and windshield, obviously all glass. All glass. So if you set the climate control to defrost and allow this thing just a few moments to heat up in the driveway before you go, you can remove the snow off the roof lickety split. It's because it's not super insulated like a normal car's roof, the snow doesn't stick to it, it slides right off. So my impressions of driving the Tesla in the winter, it's actually where this car really shines. It's amazing. It is the best car I've ever had for the snow. And I'm not fanboy gushing all over you on this. It's really, really good. Excellent traction, excellent handling, and the ability to never get stuck. Yes, please. Until next time, stay safe.